Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another Red Reveals. Well, actually, this is part two of the Red Reveals of Rise of the Red Skull. So if you're hopping in at this point and you haven't seen part one, I'll put a little thing up in the corner over there, maybe. And you should go over and see part one first before you see part two. If you have seen part one already, you're in the right place. We're going to go through the rest of the stuff that came in Rise of the Red Skull. So, um, we've covered Crossbones, Absorbing Man, Taskmaster. We've covered our couple of heroes. We brought out Madam Hydra because Crossbones calls for legions of Hydra, which is interesting. What we've got left is Zola, Red Skull. We haven't seen Hydra Assault yet because nothing is called for it. And we've got these campaign things over here, which I've got no idea about right now. So let's take a look at Zola. I think Zola is next up on our list. So what we have for Zola here, we have 2 scheme, 1 attack, and retaliate 1. So retaliate 1 is an annoying ability, but he's not looking all that tough. 12 hit points. That's a single Hulk smash, and he's out of there. So that's not too bad. So what are we looking at? As he goes up, we've got 2-1 to 2-2 to 3-2. And what happens? So when you hit level 2, we have search, encounter, and discard pile for the test subject's side scheme and reveal it. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Test subject's side scheme. And this one says search the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion and reveal it. Okay. All right, so let's see what we've got here. So we've got, let's move Zola off the map. We'll put him back out over here. And we've got the Island of Dr. Zola. So 1A, we've got our standard encounter set and 1 modular encounter set under attack. And that goes back to the core set again. That is these, yes. So that's our Ultron cards from the main set. And we've got no minions in there. So it looks like these are all modifications that are going to power him up. So I guess all of the minions that it talks about drawing are going to have to come out of Dr. Zola's deck here. So let's see what we've got. Search the encounter deck for the Hydra Prison and reveal it. Each player searches the encounter deck for a copy of Ultimate Bioservant and puts it into play, engaged with them. Shuffle the encounter deck. All right. That's not a discard. We're going to search and get it and put it back. All right. And then at that point, we go over to 1B, we've got a forced response. That is a wall of text, and that is a huge Dr. Zola there. All right, so after resolving step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 test counter here. Then, if there are 3 or more test counters, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. Put that minion into play, engaged with the first player, and remove 3 test counters from this scheme. Okay, so that is a wall of text that says, step 1 of the villain phase, put a counter there. If there's 3 counters, take them away and put a minion out there. All right. That's not all that difficult. So, and then it's got 6 to get by, so it looks like you're going to go through that one pretty fast, probably. All right, then we have 2B. So, what do we have for 2A here? So, each player searches the encounter deck for a minion. So we're grabbing a minion yet again. And then we have, it looks like that whole, you're going to put counters there after resolving step 1 of the villain phase, place a test counter here, 3 or more test counters, get a minion. Minions, minions. So that's our Dr. Zola thing. And the other thing to note is it's not +1, it's +1 per player star, which is the force response. So there we go. And it starts with 1 per player. That's the big note, is it starts with 1 per player. Normally you get +1 per player, but we're starting with 1 per player. So in a 4-player one, you're going to start with 4 already out there. So cool. All right, so here's the Ultimate Bioservant, which was mentioned earlier. So he starts with toughness, and then Ultimate Bioservant gets +1 attack for each attachment on it. Okay, and then if it's a boost, it gives a villain a tough status. So I'm going to guess there's 4 Ultimate Bioservants because it talks about you having to dig and take out the Ultimate Bioservants. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. We have Zola's Mutate, which She's got 1 scheme and 2 attack. When revealed, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a tech attachment is discarded and attach that to Zola's mutate. Okay, so we've seen 4 and 2, 3 of those. And you got a deck size of 31, so I don't know. The thing that I'm thinking is there's a lot of minions, so if you're going to go searching for tech cards, you might end up discarding a lot of cards in order to get to a tech card. All right, and then as a boost, he's going to go into the encounter deck. Interesting. That's not a horrible boost, I don't think. All right, so there's 3 of those guys. We've got a Berserk mutate, and there's 3 Berserk mutates, it looks like. No scheme to attack. He's got quick strike, so he's going to nail you when he comes out. And as a boost, he does a place 1 test counter on the main scheme. For each test counter on the main scheme, Zola gets +1 scheme and +1 attack for this activation. Oh, okay. So there's you could possibly get 3 out there or more, I guess, depending upon how many Berserk mutates you grab at the beginning of a round. And that could make Zola pretty nasty for an attack or an activation. All right, and there's 1, 2, 3 of those guys. All right, we have defensive programming attached to a minion with the most remaining hit points without another copy of defensive programming attached. If not, it gains surge. So attached minion gets +2 hit points and gains guard. Interesting, okay. Tougher, and they get the guard ability. And of course, it's got to be the one with the most hit points too, right? Because, yeah, that's the way the game works. Pain inhibitors, like this big thing in his back. Attached to the minion with the most remaining hit points without another copy of pain inhibitors. If not, it surges. Attached minion gets +2 hit points and gains retaliate 1. All right, how many of those are there? 1, 2 of those. So these are the tech cards that we would be going after for our mutates there. Neurological implants, +2 scheme and +2 attack. Wow. Attached to the minion with the most remaining hit points without another copy of implants. And they get +2 hit points and +2 scheme and +2 attack. Yikes. I'm glad that doesn't go on Zola. That just goes on minions. Man. All right, Mind Ray. When revealed, alter ego, Zola schemes and you're confused. Hero, he attacks and you are stunned. All right. That's painful. All right. Not only does he attack you, he's going to stun you. Great. All right. Technological enhancements. Incite 1, so that's our thing where we throw 1 onto the main scheme, I believe. Then revealed, place 1 test counter on the main scheme, so we incite and we put a test counter out there. All right. What do we have here? We have the Hydra prison, so this is one of the things that comes out. When revealed, each player searches their deck, discard pile, and hand for a hero-specific ally and places it face down beneath this scheme. Place X threat on this scheme where X is the total cost of allies beneath it. Each player shuffles their deck. When defeated, remove this scheme from the game and return each ally beneath it to its owner's hand. Oh, cool. So he's going to like kidnap your signature allies out. That's pretty neat. I like that. So there's a good reason to play Hulk. Because does Hulk have a hero? He doesn't have a hero-specific ally, I don't think, in the Hulk deck. So there you go. That's the perfect one to play with Hulk. There you go. No signature ally for Hulk. Hulk's going to get, that's his end around. He's the perfect character for this. So there we go. I like that. That seems thematic and part of a nice story there, right? He's going to capture everybody. You have to take care of that in order to get them out. Like it. Let's see here. X threat, where X is the total cost of allies beneath it, right? So you don't want to throw like a Heimdall underneath there. That would be bad. Well, I guess he's not a hero-specific ally. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like the Hydra prison. Nice. So test subjects was the other one. I think when Zola 2 came out, test subjects came out. So when defeated, the first player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until they discard a minion, reveal that minion. All right, so we're going to bring a minion out. And we've got a additional encounter card, 2 per player. Oh, there's a couple of those in there. And then we've got Zola's Experiments. Forced response. After a minion enters play, attach the topmost tech attachment in the encounter discard pile to that minion. Ooh, that looks pretty rough. I think you'll want to get that one out of play as quickly as possible because those attachments looked pretty nasty. And minions coming out with those are going to be bad. So, all right, Zola looks like fun. I do like the whole thing where he takes your allies and puts them in prison and you have to go free them. So you've got a reason to be out there doing stuff. That's pretty cool. I'm seeing a lot of theme in these decks that make it more of a kind of bring you into the specific adventure that's going on. All right, so our last one we've got here is Red Skull. Let's talk about Red Skull. So he's got 2 scheme and 0 attack, but he gets +1 attack for each side scheme in play. Okay, so, and then he's going to go, ooh, he's going to get a bump from 3 to 3-1 and then 3-2. All right, and he starts with 12 hit points. Is it a 12, 14, 12, 16, 20? So he gets a pretty good bump when he goes up in level. Yeah, okay. So what else we got going on here? So just 1 attack for each side scheme in play. And over here we get 1 attack for each side scheme in play. Deal each player an encounter card. And then we've got a deal each player an encounter card. All right, so I'm guessing that's going to be painful in that there's probably a lot of side schemes in the Red Skull deck. So throwing everybody an encounter card might be a bit of a problem. All right, so let's get Red Skull out of the way here. We've kind of had this thing going with singulars, but I got a feeling Red Skull's not going to be a singular thing. Just, that doesn't seem, no, 1, 2. We got 2, all right. So we've got 1A, Rise of the Red Skull. So we've got Red Skull, 1, 2. We have the standard encounter set and 2 modular at once Hydra Assault and Hydra Patrol. Okay, so we're back to the Hydra Patrol, which was there, and now we're finally bringing in the Hydra Assault. All right, put the Red House into play, shuffle every other side scheme into the side scheme deck, and set it next to the encounter deck. Set the sleeper aside out of play. Well, there's all sorts of crazy things going on there, so let's read that again. Put the Red House into play, shuffle every other side scheme into the side scheme deck, and set it next to the encounter deck. Set the sleeper aside out of play. All right, interesting. So then we have a, let's see, 8 per player, and then force response after resolving step 1 of the villain phase, reveal the top card of the side scheme deck and put it into play. So that's where Red Skull has 0 on his attack and then gets +1 for each side scheme. It looks like he's always going to have at least 1, right? Because we're going to drop that at the beginning of the villain phase. All right, so then we've got, let's see here, after the Rise of the Red Skull, we have the New World Hydra. When revealed, reveal the top card of the side scheme play and put it into play. Side scheme deck and put it into play. More side schemes. And then we've got the same thing going on. So at the top of the villain phase, he's going to get a side scheme. And again, we're at the 1 per player that we're starting with. Not just a 0. All right, now let's see here. We've got a Minion, which is the sleeper, Elite Hydra Robot. Guard, Retaliate 1, and Toughness. Let's just give him all the abilities. When revealed, the sleeper engages the first player. When defeated, he leaves the game. Oh, that's why. I just noticed that. The 5 is per player, so you're looking at a ton of damage to take him out. Potentially, if you're playing multiplayer. I mean, that's not all bad single player, but yeah, you go 3 or 4 player, that's going to take a bit to take him out. All right, then we've got Hydra Exo Soldier. 5 health is pretty good, and he's got toughness. All right, 2 scheme, 2 attack. Give the villain a tough status and another boost card. Oh, that's nice. It's kind of like a boost surge. All right. And we got 1, 2 of those guys, 3 of those guys. Red Skull's Luger. Attached to Red Skull, he's going to get ranged and piercing. Going to take out your tough. And he's going to get scheme and attack. And as a boost card, it goes right onto Red Skull. That's kind of a mean card. All right. Then we have Red Skull's right hook. Attached to Red Skull, he's going to get Retaliate 1. You got to spend 3 to get rid of it. And it's got 3 boost icons. Oh, he's got 2 of them. He can get Retaliate 2. Oh, bad. Bad, bad. All right. Master Strategist. Attached to Red Skull, Forced Interrupt. When Red Skull activates, give him an additional boost card for each side scheme in play. Then this... Ooh. Wow. So you're at a minimum of 1, and depending upon what you let sit out there, that could be on the disgusting side. Yikes. How many of those does he have? He's got 2 of those? Oh, man. That looks bad. All right, Twisted Reality. Ooh, I love that artwork. In Sight 1, attached to his side scheme. When its attached side scheme is defeated, deal the first player an encounter card. Okay, so it's going to make another encounter card come out. It's interesting because looking at this, a lot of times you've got there's some side schemes you let sit out there, like this is definitely an expert. If Master Plan hits while you're playing Red Skull, that's going to be bad. All right, Bitter Rival. When revealed, exhaust a character you control for each side scheme in play. Oh, that's pretty awesome. And as a boost, it's exhaust a character you control. That's sweet. Spreading Lies. When revealed, place 2 threat on each scheme in play, or you give him a tough status card. It's a boost. It's like a mini master plan. All right, Infinite Power. When revealed, give Red Skull a tough status card and Red Skull schemes. That's if you're alter ego. Then hero side, give Red Skull a tough status card and Red Skull attacks you. Come up with another attack. All right, so this is one of the things that comes out at the beginning, I believe. You've got the Red House. Red Skull cannot take damage. Yikes. When a character thwarts this side scheme, they must use their attack instead of their thwart. Interesting. So you're going to have to bust that one down. Ooh, okay. That's going to come out at the beginning. And then it could eventually come back out too as you go through cards. Oh, wow. All right, so this was the big bad sleeper. I guess we have the sleeper awakened. So it cannot leave play while the sleeper is in play. When revealed, put the sleeper into play, engage with the first player. When the sleeper is defeated, remove this card from the game. All right, so this looks like it's just an encounter card that tries to make sure that the sleeper comes out. And then if the sleeper comes out, or if the sleeper gets defeated, then this goes away too. Cool. Prison Camps. When defeated, the player who defeated this scheme searches their deck and discard pile for an ally and puts it into play, shuffles their deck. All right, so you get to free one of your allies, essentially. And it's got 1 acceleration token on it. Not a huge fan of the artwork, but interesting. Now that's interesting artwork there. Censor the Past. When defeated, each player chooses up to 3 cards in their discard pile and shuffles them into their deck. So it chooses up to 3 cards, so you can or can't do it. Interesting. I really like that artwork. That's kind of cool artwork. And Hydra Reinforcements. So when defeated, the player who defeated this scheme discards a non-elite minion. That seems like a nice bonus. We have Mass Chaos. When revealed, each player discards the top 5 cards of their deck and places 1 threat here for each different type of resource. So it doesn't start with any, but you're going to take 5 cards and see what you come up with. So if you're playing Hulk, it's probably going to be 1. But playing other folks, you may end up with a lot more than that. All right. I guess the interesting thing is I didn't see any of those side schemes that were super horrible. There was the Sleeper Awakened one, which was, it's a one-shotter, so it's not all that bad. But that's the thing, is at the beginning of the Red Skull's turn, he's going to go looking for one of those each time. So that is a very interesting aspect of that, because you're going to be churning through the deck pretty quick to get those. Oh, they're going to go in the side scheme deck. Okay, so I forgot about that. The side schemes go in the side scheme deck, and you're going to reveal them from there. Interesting. Okay. So you're going to get one of those each turn. All right, so part of Red Skull stuff was these guys here. You get the Hydra Assault. Ooh, that dude looks awesome. The Hydra Flame Soldier. He looks kind of like the Mandalorian, the Flame Stormtrooper there. He was pretty rough too. So after a Hydra Flame Soldier makes an undefended attack against you, discard a support you control. That seems very thematic. Pretty cool. If this card resolves during an undefended attack, discard a support you control. I like that. I think that's a good theme for that card. That's pretty cool. And the artwork's awesome there. You got 1, 2 of those, 3 of those. All right, then we got the Hydra Jet Trooper, which looks like he's flying machine guns. Quick Strike, 0 scheme to attack. If you are in hero form, the villain attacks you after this activation. Do not deal any boost cards for that attack. Okay, so he gets another attack. All right, and then Hail Hydra. And that's where we've seen that one before. So that's where Hydra minions make an attack again. Each player who's not attacked is going to go find a Hydra minion. All right. All right, so I'm not sure what to think of Red Skull there. He's interesting. He's got his little side scheme deck. I'd like to see how that plays out. All right, so the last thing we've got is we got these campaign cards over here that we haven't looked at. Now, as I understand it, it looks like there's 2 sets of cards in here. We've got Hydra Campaign Basic, and then we've got Expert Campaign Set. Now, I believe as you step through the adventures that are in here, as a reward, you can get these Hydra Campaign Basic cards. So let's take a look at those. There's 2 types. It looks like there's tech cards and condition cards. So you've got a Adrenal Stems, where you discard this card, remove it from the campaign log, ready your hero, and heal 5 damage. Then, so discard this card and remove it from the campaign log, draw 5 cards. So these look like one-shotters that you can get the advantage of. Discard this card and remove it from the campaign log, search your deck and discard pile for an ally, put it into play, and give it a tough status card. And then discard this card and remove it from play, or remove it from the campaign log, deal 5 damage to the villain and each enemy engaged with you. And that's Nick Fury kind of going crazy there. Like all the shells on the ground around there. That's awesome. But it's a laser cannon, so why is there shells all over the place? I don't know. I don't understand. Anyway, so these look like one-shotters that do like really cool things and have, I think they all had 0 cost. They were all 0 cost? Yep, all 0 cost. It looks like those are rewards that you can get. All right, this says permanent setup, so it looks like these are going to stay in play. Improved thwart upgrade. You get 2 hit points. Your hero gets +1 thwart. Responds after you defeat a side scheme, exhaust this card, draw a card. We have an improved attack upgrade, which is you get +1 hit point, hero gets +1 attack, defeat a minion, exhaust, and draw a card. We have improved defense upgrade, which is +3 hit points, +1 defense. After you defend, exhaust, and draw a card. See a theme. Improved recovery, which says permanent setup, you get 4 hit points. Your alter ego gets +1 recovery. After you use your recovery, draw a card. All right, so these must be, I'm guessing these are bonuses that you get. I haven't gone through the manual yet, but I would assume that as you step through these adventures, these are different campaign bonuses that you get that you can use on further adventures. Okay, one of the last ones are these right here. And from what I've heard these are the expert campaign set. And I think if you play expert campaign set, you're supposed to potentially carry your health from one adventure to the next adventure. So if you end the game against, let's say, Crossbones at 2 health, you would then go to Absorbing Man and you would start with 2 health in campaign mode. What you can do is, I believe, you can say that you take one of these random obligation cards and put it in your deck and heal back up to full health. So I think that's what these obligation cards are. So you would shuffle them up and you would take one and it would go into your deck. So it's an interesting thing in that it's an obligation card that goes into the player deck. So normally when you would draw it, then you're forced to deal with that card, which is kind of cool. I like the idea of obligation cards in the player deck, not just as encounters. I wonder if we'll see more of that from Kang. We'll see. All right, so we've got, there's 4 possibilities it looks like. So if you need to heal, you're gonna grab one of randomly you're gonna get one of these. And these will start turning up in your deck because they have, I believe, player card backs on them. All right, so you've got Zola's algorithm, and there's 4 of them. There's 4 sets of the 4 cards for 4 players, right? All right. So this is going to come out and alter ego action, exhaust your alter ego and spend a mental resource to discard this card. So on your turn, you would draw this, you throw it into play. You would probably want it in your turn, alter ego, making that go away so the acceleration goes away. All right, then we've got medical emergency. At the end of your turn, take 1 damage if you are in hero form. And alter ego, discard the top 5 of your cards from your deck and spend a physical resource to discard that card. Which is going to help it get back out there earlier because you just took 5 cards out of your deck. Awesome. The interesting part of that too is things like, your Winds of Watum and all that to draw more cards. That's actually these cards would affect heroes that draw lots of cards a lot more often. That's an interesting piece of gameplay there to help balance that out. Oh, there's your hand size is reduced by 1. Get an energy resource to get rid of that. Ouch. Yeah, that's what Thor needs is to get the martial law one because he wants to start with like a 3-card hand size. That would be horrible. All right. AntiHero Propaganda. Your hero gets -1 thwart, -1 attack, and -1 defense. So as an alter ego action, take 2 damage and spend a wild resource to discard this card. Oh, so is wild any resource, or you actually have to spend a wild one that's wild? That's an interesting point of clarification there. If you actually have to spend a wild, that's going to be tough to get rid of. Well, you've got cards like, usually everybody's carrying like the power of leadership or whatever, right, in their deck in order to pay for that type of thing. But that's really annoying. And you're going to be hurting for a while there. -1 thwart, -1 attack, -1 defense. Ow, not good. All right, those look like fun. That way I can see the moans happening as you pull one of those out and like, oh no. That's pretty cool. So there's some interesting mechanics in this game. So what are we looking at here? So we've gone through everything at this point in time. So interesting mechanics. Let's see if I can remember what they are. So for Crossbones, he's got a separate weapons deck that sits on the side, and he's going to get upgraded with weapons. Absorbing Man's got environments that come into play that are going to affect how he fights. Taskmaster, I'm trying to remember Taskmaster's thing. Taskmaster's got the allies, that's right. These allies that go into kind of a side pool that you can free and they come back out, which is kind of a nice aspect of things. These captured by Hydra cards help you get these neat allies out. Zola has a whole bunch of minions in his deck, and they get enhanced, and you're going to have to run through all the minions, which looks like a pain. And the Red Skull's got a crazy amount of side scheme stuff going on. So all very cool new mechanics with the villains. Spider-Woman's got the 2-aspect thing going on. That looks interesting. Some of the cards, what were the highlight cards that were not hers? She's got a lot of interesting cards herself, I would say. Once you get outside of Spider-Woman's cards, she also happens to have a lot of cards that are from the base set. This Piercing Strike looks interesting. It's 3 damage to an enemy, and the attack gains piercing for a cost of 2. So that's kind of cool. Spider-Man looks really nice as an Avenger. Skilled Investigator looks really nice too. After you get a side scheme, you can after you get rid of a side scheme, you can exhaust it and draw a card. That's a neat one. Oh, and I really like this one, the Clear the Area. So the Clear the Area is remove 2 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat on that scheme, draw a card. So I'd like that as a Justice card. I think that's a good Justice card. So Hawkeye is leadership. So once you get past Hawkeye's cards, which are a lot of arrows, you have some neat allies in here. You've got Hawkeye, Black Knight, and Goliath, USA Agent. So there's just a ton of fun allies to beef up your leadership deck with. Sky Cycle, I'm kind of wondering about. It gives you the whole thing about it giving you aerial. I don't know that does a whole lot. Maybe there's something in the future that is great with aerial. Right now, not a whole lot, but you can exhaust it to ready an ally, and you combine that with where's that other one? Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which says exhaust an Avenger character you control, ready another Avenger character. You get to do a whole lot of back and forth there, where you can ready up other Avengers to do stuff. So that could be some kind of gross stuff. Like if you want to do a whole lot of Doctor Strange casting, you could really crank on that using that card. So yeah, he's going to make leadership, I think, is pretty powerful already. I think that's going to make leadership even more powerful with that in there. You got War Machine, pretty standard cards in there. So I don't know. Who do I want to play the most? I want to play Hawkeye the most. I think he will be interesting. I don't know that I want him to stay leadership. I'm a big fan of aggression, so I'd kind of like to see an aggression Hawkeye and see how that works out. Anyway, we've gone through everything. We've got the book here. It's got like a campaign log on the back of it. It's got some neat comic stuff in here, which I will let you explore for yourself, unless you just want to freeze those flips that I did there really fast. But really excited to play this. Of course, I need to sleeve it first. Like, I've probably touched the cards more than I should have already, just because I'm that way. But ready to sleeve this and get this into play and do some recordings playing against some of these villains here. So really looking forward to it. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Got to figure out, I'll probably step through them one at a time. We'll go Crossbones, Absorbing Man, Taskmaster, Zola, Red Skull. I don't know that I'll do it campaign style off the bat. I think I'm just going to go against them because I want to see what their mechanics work like, and I'll probably play against them 2 or 3 times just to try to understand them before I try to do the campaign thing. And I'm going to have to figure out which hero I want to go up against them with. I've been having a lot of fun with Black Panther recently. I don't want to do Doctor Strange because I think Doctor Strange is going to be maybe too powerful. So kind of would like to use I kind of see Black Panther as a good hero, but not one of the great heroes. So I think I may try it with him, or Captain Marvel might be another one to go after. I'll have to see. I don't want to use a top tier hero, but I also don't want to use a bottom tier hero. So we'll be thinking about that one. Maybe we'll go back to Spider-Man and try Spider-Man. I don't know. Anyway, well, that's it for now. Let me know what you think about the Rise of the Red Skull. Have you been playing? What do you think about the villains? Are some of them tougher? Like, is Red Skull really not all that bad? But Taskmaster and his stuff is just really annoying. What is it? What you thinking there? Is getting Madam Hydra, getting her into the mix, does that really make that one a lot tougher? I got to imagine that just makes that evil. But also, if you've played, have you been hit by any of these obligations, and do they really affect your play a whole lot? That's one of the other things that I'm wondering. And it's going to be a while before I get to a point where I campaign through and hit the obligations. I'd be interested to hear anybody that's actually played and hit one of those obligations, if those are really like crushing moments that horribly slow you down to hit one of the obligations, or if they're just like, that's a thing, and I move on by it, and it's not all that big of a deal. So let me know in the comments. Really excited to get to play some Rise of Red Skull, and hope you guys are playing it out there too. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching.